Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to share with you all a review about the curriculum all about reading. And specifically today I'll be showing you level 1 and the books that are with it and the different supplies that come with the deluxe packet of all about reading level 1. So on my channel I've already posted a couple other videos related to reading with your young children and pre-reading activities for preschoolers. So I will link those down below in case you guys are interested. So I'm a mom to 3 young children, ages 5, 3, and 1. And I've been using the All About Reading curriculum with my 5-year-old for over the past year and a half now. And it has been just an amazing curriculum. My son has been able to progress very well with his reading, and he's now reading very fluently, and he's starting to read chapter books. And now, after a year and a half, he is about halfway through level 2 of the All About Reading curriculum. So I have been just extremely happy with how All About Reading is structured and what they've included in their curriculum, and honestly pretty much everything about it. So I thought that I would come on here and just share a little bit about it, since it has been so helpful for me with my children, and I thought it might be something that is helpful for you as well. And I know for me, I had a hard time finding reviews about All About Reading that actually showed some of the pages of the readers, for example, and some of the supplies that came with the curriculum. And so I thought that I would share that on here so that you guys could have a little peek into it to see what it looks like and what is included if you do end up going with that curriculum. So the All About Reading curriculum is based off of a method of teaching reading that's called the Orton-Gillingham method. I am by no means an expert on what the Orton-Gillingham method is, but I initially heard of this from my own mom, actually, who went through a course on how to become a certified Orton-Gillingham instructor. And as she went through this process, she told me a lot about the amazing results that students who have gone through this method have had with reading. And after she finished her course, she told me a little bit about this curriculum, about All About Reading. And this was a few years ago, so I kind of stored that away in my mind. I wasn't ready to teach my kids how to read yet. Then more recently, I have had several friends who used All About Reading with their children, and they had amazing results. From what I know of the Orton-Gillingham method is that this is a method that breaks down reading and spelling into the most basic parts, so into letters and the sounds of those letters. So it breaks it down to the most basic level and then builds little by little upon each concept, and it also integrates a whole body approach to learning. So it also integrates kinesthetic learning and visual learning and auditory learning and all the different types of learning. It integrates different activities and different ways of learning so that the student can be very well-rounded and become a very confident reader by making sure that all of the bases are covered and that they really take a step-by-step approach to reading. Before I had settled on All About Reading, I had actually tried out a different reading book with my son, and it had not worked out so well for him. He was 4 years old at the time, and the book that I had chosen was a little bit dry, and he really wasn't interested in sitting still and learning about reading. And so I realized that I needed to find something that was a little bit more engaging and that had more options and that had more activities for him to be involved in the learning process. And that was one of the big things with All About Reading that I loved, is that they have a lot of different activities or games and manipulatives so that the student can be fully engaged in the learning process. So now I'm going to give you guys just a sneak peek into what All About Reading Level 1 includes. And if you're new to All About Reading and you have any specific questions that I do not cover in today's video, please go ahead and drop a comment down below, because I frequently check my comments and I try to respond to everyone as much as I possibly can. And if you have used All About Reading before for your children, or maybe you're a teacher and you've used it with your students, also go ahead and comment below and let people know what you have enjoyed about All About Reading, because for those who are watching this video, I know it'd be helpful to see varying perspectives from people who have actually used the curriculum themselves. So with All About Reading, all of these different items that come in a package can also be purchased individually. Of course, you do get a little bit of a discount if you're going for the package deal, but if you maybe just want to try one part of the curriculum or mix and match some different things, you're able to do that as well. So that is very nice. So when I purchased it for my son, I ended up going with the Deluxe package, which has pretty much everything included all in one. And I did really enjoy doing that because it made it so simple for me. One of the pros of All About Reading curriculum also is that it really is an open and go curriculum. So you can literally follow along with the lesson plan. You don't have to come up with any of the ideas or games or activities on your own. Although of course if you want to, you'd be more than free to do that. But it gives you everything that you need right here. And I love that about it. So with All About Reading, we have a teacher's guide. And you see it's a nice thick teacher's guide that goes through every single lesson. I'll just give you like a little sneak peek into one of these lessons. In the lesson, they give you a preview for the teacher of what the lesson is going to cover and what you need to prep before you begin the lesson. Then down here, they have a review section. So you always review what you've learned previously with your student. And then it goes into the lesson. And it guides you through everything to do in the lesson, all the activity sheets, all the reading sheets, and everything. So it's extremely helpful and very comprehensive. Then you have a student workbook, and this is the workbook that my son used. So as you go through the workbook, they actually have perforated pages that if you want to take sheets out, you can. So for activity sheets, that can be very helpful. Some of these pages, this book was a lot thicker than this to begin with. It was about the size of the teacher's guide. We have already worked through the whole thing, and a lot of the pages have been torn out, so it's much thinner now. There are activity sheets. There are warm-up sheets, which are sheets that help students to gain fluency in their reading, and practice sheets, which help students to learn new words. So there's just a variety of different things. One thing that I forgot to mention that I absolutely loved in the teacher's book was the appendixes, because the appendixes actually have a ton of useful information as a teacher and extra resources that you can use. One of my favorite things is their games and activities page. So it gives you just a ton of different ideas for different games and activities to do with your student, so that as they're learning their letters and as they're learning their phonograms, which is the sounds that the letters make, they never become bored. There's always new and different ways to do things. So that was super helpful for me as a teacher. So we've got the teacher book and the student book, and then another one of my favorite things about All About Reading, as you can see, I have a lot of pros about All About Reading. It's a wonderful curriculum in my opinion. They have wonderful readers. And my son, he loves these readers because they have wonderful stories that are very interesting for children to read, and they also have beautiful illustrations. So I'm going to show you in the first reader, which is called Run Bug Run, beautiful colored pencil illustrations that go along with each of the stories. And all of the readers are like this, just beautifully illustrated with really fun stories and a variety of different types of stories as well. So these readers are an excellent part, and probably my favorite part, honestly, of the All About Reading curriculum. But there's so many wonderful things about it, so I can't say enough good things. So the All About Reading Deluxe packet also comes with this reading review box. So this is where you keep your flashcards for words and phonograms. And so as you can see in here, there's some green cards and some yellow cards. So the yellow cards are phonograms, and so they have 3 tabs: phonogram cards mastered, phonogram cards review, and then phonogram cards future lessons. So you can keep all of your cards organized in here based on that. Then we have all of our word cards, and you have word cards separated for word card review, word card mastered, and then word card for future lessons. So again, it helps you keep everything organized, and you know which ones your student has mastered and which ones your student is still working on. And finally, for those learners who are a little bit more kinesthetic and enjoy piecing things together, there are letter tiles. So All About Reading offers 2 different ways that you can do letter tiles. They have a physical version, which I will show you in just a moment, and they also have an app, which I will link for you guys below if you're interested in checking it out. So I have both actually, because I really enjoy the physical tiles. The student can actually feel them and touch them and move them around physically, and I personally feel like that makes a really big difference for a student to be able to actually physically move the letter tiles around and create words themselves. But the app is also nice because you don't have to worry about losing or missing letter tiles. Obviously with young children, it can be hard to keep track of the letter tiles sometimes, and I have lost some of mine at times, and so sometimes the app can be easier to use for letter tile building. So I'm going to show you just a couple of the letter tiles so you can see how they look. So when you first get your All About Reading packet, your letter tiles will come all in one sheet, and then you snap them apart and you have to put magnets on the back. So this is one of the only aspects about All About Reading that takes a little bit of time, putting the magnets on your letter tiles. So on this side is the letter tile, and then on this side is the magnet. And then of course these would stick onto a whiteboard or some other type of magnetic board so that your student can build words and practice their letters with that. So finally, I am going to talk about Ziggy the Zebra games, which you can include in your purchase. And this is just another way to re-emphasize what you're learning in the lessons of All About Reading. Out of all of the entire All About Reading curriculum, the Ziggy the Zebra games are definitely the most time-consuming to put together. So in my opinion, if I were to go back, I probably would not actually get the Ziggy the Zebra games. They're excellent games, but it just, to me, I'm not very much of a crafty person. And so to me, it was a little bit too time consuming to put everything together. But if you do enjoy putting together things and doing a little bit more crafty type things for your student, this might be totally up your alley. And the games are very, very fun. So I'm going to show you here. Basically, they're file folder games. So there's a book for Ziggy the Zebra games that you will tear out the pages, you'll cut it out and paste it onto folders for each game. And I believe there's 9 games, something like that. So you have the outer pocket, which has instructions for the game, and then you have the inside, which is where you paste the pages of the game. This is kind of like your game board. So each game comes with pieces that you cut out, and what I did to keep them all secure and keep them all together is I just taped on with some clear tape these Ziploc baggies on the back, and then I can slip the game pieces in when we're done playing the game. So that made it nice and easy for organization and keeping it all together. So that was my quick overview of All About Reading Level 1. I would be happy to make more videos about All About Reading. If you guys are interested in seeing Level 2, which I have started with my son, I'd be happy to do a review video of that. Or if you just have any other specific questions, please let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it was helpful to you. If you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and like below, and you can subscribe to my channel for more content that is similar to this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.